whew, these warm summer nights, they just make me feel so tired. They put me right to bed. If only there was something that could help. Wait. A new fan? Well, today's the day of the week with the most R's in it, so I guess you already know what's about to happen. Hello everybody, we have everybody here for some more stuff, and today we're going to be reviewing the Dreo Air Circulator Fan CF511. This is quite an expensive air circulator fan, and the reason I got it is because, you know, I figured that I would have it for a long time, and that it would help, especially because my room has been getting pretty hot. My room was added to this house, it wasn't originally a part of it. So it stays really cold during the winter, so I had to get a heater, and it stays really warm during the summer. So I wanted to get an air circulator fan because you can see the curtains right here. There's a window right there that's in like the center of this room, and it's quite a small room. And it opens up and it like is nice, but it doesn't really cool the room that quickly. So I wanted to get an air circulator fan, right? Because there are two kinds of fans. There's a normal fan that just blows air straight forward, and there's an air circulator. And what an air circulator does is it blows the air forward, but it also spins it. And what that does, theoretically, is it spins the air, and when it hits the wall, it like goes outward. And when it goes outward, it is supposed to mix whatever the air is that it's shooting with the rest of the air in the room. And it's supposed to circulate that air, making the general room temperature more equal. So it'll remove hot spots. And if it's taking in cold air, for example, if I were to put it in front of that window and it takes in cold air and blows it in, then it will circulate that cooler air into the room and decrease the temperature in a meaningful way, as opposed to a normal fan that would just blow air at me, and that air that it's blowing feels pretty nice. So I wanted to get an air circulator, and I decided to go with the Dreo air circulator because it seemed like the best one. And there's a smart edition. I didn't get that because it seemed kind of pointless. I think that buying a phone app to like turn on your fan just seems like a little much. But you know, I wanted to get this model, the CF511, because it rotates. So let me take you on a little journey, everybody. Here's my fan. I'm gonna turn it on. It has like a little screen and it blows, and you can make it oscillate, right? So it goes back and forth. Here's my leg, everybody. You can see it goes back and forth, but also the up and down angle can change. So I'm gonna turn it off. You can angle it higher up than this, all the way up to straight up, and you can also angle it back down to straight ahead. Okay, I promise you can. Damn, I just needed two hands. So it's nice that you're able to angle it like that and then it oscillates, because it just means that you can kind of angle it however you want. So there is a vent with air conditioning, it's at the floor. So when I had that on, I used my fan, my air circulator fan, to blow that all around the room. But there is a bed in the way. There's a bed in the way right here. There's my cat. Say hi to Milo, everybody. Everybody say hi to Milo. Everybody comment below. Hi, Milo. But the bed's in the way. So what I did is I put my air circulator fan on the ground, and I pointed it very high up, and it circulated the air around the whole room because it blew up to the ceiling, and then just like all the air came around. I do think that it honestly does as intended, and maybe this is placebo, but it feels like it really does alter the temperature of the room in a meaningful way. when you put it in front of like an air vent or a window or something that is bringing in cool air. It really does feel like it does a good job. And another thing is that my computer will get really hot. And then the fans from my computer are blowing out that hot air, but it kind of stays localized to this corner of the room. And that means that when I'm sitting right here, it's a lot warmer than it is if I'm on the other side of the room, for example, where the head of my bed is. So the air circulator also makes it seem like it can kind of dissipate that heat throughout the rest of the room and make it feel less concentrated in one area, and it just makes it feel better overall to be in here, which is really nice. So, you know, those are the benefits of having an air circulator that oscillates back and forth and that can go up and down. But why did I choose this one instead of another air filter that does all of the same things? Well, first of all, it has a remote. It has a little remote. This remote has a power button. It has a increase fan speed and decrease fan speed button. Those are two buttons, actually. It has a button to change the modes, because okay, this is the one thing I really don't care about with this fan. It has a mode where it just like blows at a normal speed depending on what speed setting you have it on, and then there's an automatic mode, which means that it changes how hard it's blowing within each level depending on the temperature that it senses. So like a 3 on fan mode is always a 3, but a 3 on automatic mode changes depending on what the fan senses the temperature is. I don't really understand that. I don't know what benefit it really gives you, so I don't know about the modes. But hey guys, Batpeg here. I know it's a totally different day. I'm wearing different things. I have used this fan a little bit more, and I know what the automatic feature does, and it's actually quite nice. So before I said I don't really get it, I don't know what it does, it's whatever, you probably don't need it. It's actually awesome. So when the automatic feature, when it says that it automatically adjusts the speed or the fan speed, I thought it meant within individual levels, because you could set it to 3 automatic or like 4 automatic, but automatic just means that it will adjust to the temperature. So if it like feels the temperature is too hot, but it's at 3, then it'll stay at 3 if you set it at 3, but after a little while, it'll like go down to, or it'll go up to 4 or down to 2, and it'll like change its own fan speed and temperature. So that's actually really nice, especially when I turn it on at night, because I'll leave it on at night, and then, you know, I don't want it to be too cold in the room once, you know, nighttime comes and whatever, and then the morning comes and it's like cooler than it was the day before with all the heat trapped in my room. So if I set it to 3 because I'm feeling really hot when I go to bed, but then the room cools down overall just because that's what's happening because it's nighttime, I'll often wake up with the fan at 2 speed. And that's nice because, well, I mean, I won't wake up with it at 2 speed because I have it turned off, but whatever. It'll be at 2 speed. And what that means is it's not blowing too hard, and it's also saving power. This is a wonderful thing, everybody. This is a wonderful thing, and I was too stupid to see it. I was too stupid to see it before. So I figured that I should give you a little bit of an update, but back to the video. See you guys in just a sec. Yeah, this remote has a power button, decrease speed button, increase speed button, mode change button, oscillation turning on and off, timer, and a volume on or off button. Because when you press a button or when you click it, you'll be able to hear this, I think. It beeps. And when you change any settings, it beeps like that, right? So, I just woke my cat up. The fan was blowing straight at him because it was head on. And little Milo, he woke up. But yeah, it beeps like that, and you can turn on and off the beeps. The fan speed goes up to like really fast, like legit really fast, and also it goes down to pretty slow, which means if you just kind of want it on a little bit, then, but you don't want it to be too loud, you can just keep it on a low setting. But if you really need it to blow, you can like turn up the settings to pretty high. The volume thing is just for the beeps, which is nice that you can turn that on or off. It has that screen here. Let me show you again, actually. Let me show you the screen again. So I'm gonna turn this on, and it has this screen right here that says what the setting is. And that screen will turn off after, it's either 30 or 60 seconds. I think it's 30 seconds. It might be 10 seconds. It's either 10 or 30 seconds. I think it's 10 seconds. But yeah, so that'll turn off on its own, and that means that this fan doesn't have any like lights or anything while you're trying to go to bed, which is nice. And here's the deal. So my room holds the temperature to whatever it was, just because the insulation isn't very good. So when it's warm, like from noon around to the end of the day, it stays quite warm. And when I go to bed, I want the fan to be turned on. However, when I wake up, it's cold outside, and my room is also cold as a result. So I generally kind of want the fan on until like 4 or 5 a.m. And then I don't want it on because it'll get cold in here. And it's kind of like a waste to have the energy running, like the electricity running to power that fan in the middle of the night when it's already cold. So I use the timer function, which is crazy. But you hit the little timer button, and the timer button says 1 or 0, and then the more times you click it, the higher the number goes, and it goes up to however many hours. I think it ends at like, I think this fan will run for 12 hours concurrently and then turn off. So yeah, but I just set it for, let's say I go to bed at 1, I set it for 4 or 5 hours, depending on what I'm feeling like. Usually, I would say 5. I think I want it running until 5, at least tonight, with the way that it feels. So if I go to bed at 5, I'll set it for 4 hours, and then, I mean, if I go to bed at 1, I want it running until 5, I'll set it for 4 hours, and then it works. And the temperature remains quite nice throughout the night, even if it's not blowing straight at me, just because it's like evening out the temperature of the room, and generally keeping the air flowing. So yeah, I really can't recommend this thing enough. But that being said, these features of like the timer, the like full up and down movement, the oscillation back and forth, really the timer is the main one that just kind of feels like a luxury addition, as well as having a remote at all. It just feels kind of like a luxury edition that isn't super needed. So I do recommend that you get an air circulator if you're getting a fan. I think that the way the air circulators are intended to work, A, seems to work for me, and B, is quite nice if it does work. Like, it's been very helpful. But I don't know that you have to get the Dreo air circulator fan CF511. Okay? I think it's the best, probably. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. It's very quiet. Like, I know you can't feel how hard the fan is blowing right now, but it's blowing, man. Like it's going. Oh, it's not oscillating. Hold on. Like, it's going. It's like really blowing air, and it's not that loud. It's quite impressive what they have managed to do. You can even see my shirt moving. It's like not even blowing straight at me. But yeah, it's very quiet. It does the job really well. And I think that this one, let's give you one more peepee peek. Oh goodness. Let's give you one more peepee peek. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. I think it's great. I think it's probably the best one. I think that getting an air circulator fan is something that you should probably look into if you're thinking about getting a fan. That being said, I don't think that you have to get this one. I think you can settle for a cheaper option if, for example, you don't care about having a remote, you don't care about having the timer, or if, you don't need it to be at different angles, or if you don't feel like you need it to oscillate, if you can just kind of set it at one angle. Although I think personally that changing the angle vertically and oscillating are two like pretty nice features. I think they significantly improve the efficacy and ease of use of a fan. Because if you always have it blowing at you, it can kind of be a lot, you know? But yeah, I really like this fan. So I figured that I would make a video about it. And what better day to release it than Thursday, the day with the most R's in it, tied with Friday and Saturday. So yeah, anyways guys, that's going to be the end of this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all the great stuff, and yes, goodbye.